Here we go. Quiet. Roll 'em.
There's a famous saying when it comes to filmmaking. Sound is half the film.
She's got to talk into the mic. I can't pick it up.
Cut.
Many of the most memorable moments in cinema were achieved with the aid of sound, whether it was witty dialogue, an emotional score, or a thrilling sound effect.
Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
The importance of sound was known to even the first filmmakers back in the medium's infancy, as the films of the silent era were screened in theatres accompanied by live music. Ever since Alan Crosland's The Jazz Singer, released in 1927, sound in all its variations has been an integral part of the filmmaking process.
Goodbye.
What happens then when filmmakers decide to forego sound altogether and instead embrace the lack of sound?
Come on, Ray.
The use of silence is just as vital to sound design as the score, ambience, or sound effects, but it's often overlooked. When applied creatively, silence can challenge our preconceived notions of how stories are told and can engage audiences through the visual language of cinema. Just because a film does not have dialogue does not mean it is a silent film. In The Tribe, directed by Miroslav Slavoshpitsky, all of the dialogue is communicated through sign language. There are no subtitles, so our attention is focused on the cinematography, the performances, and the ambient sounds of the world. The precision of all of these combined allows us to understand what is happening purely through visuals. Silence is the absence of noise, but you'll very rarely come across a film where there was no sound whatsoever. With that being said, let's look at a famous moment of silence found in Jean-Luc Godard's Bande à part.
Puisque personne n'a rien à se dire, on pourrait peut-être faire une minute de silence.
Quelquefois, vous êtes vraiment trop bête.
Une minute de silence, ça peut durer très longtemps. Une vraie minute de silence, ça dure une éternité.
Ok. 1, 2, 3.
In the hands of another director, the ambience of the cafe would continue, contributing to the awkwardness of the scene. But ever the revolutionary, Godard chooses to remove all the sound from the film in a playful moment that challenges the cinematic grammar of film. Notice how the music drops in and out as the narrator describes to us the inner thoughts of the characters.
Arthur regarde sans arrêt ses pieds, mais il pense à la bouche d'Odile, à ses baisers romantiques.
According to legendary sound designer Walter Murch, if you want to create the sense of silence, it frequently has more pungency if you include the tiniest of sounds. By manipulating what you hear and how you hear it, and what other things you don't hear, you can not only help tell the story, you can help the audience get into the mind of the character.
Bon. Moi, j'en ai marre. Je vais mettre un disque.
We can see an example of this in Michelangelo Antonioni's Blow Up. Fashion photographer Thomas develops candid photos of a couple in the park, but soon suspects that he has captured something far more sinister. The record he has put on slowly fades out as his concentration shifts to the blown up images in front of him. All we can hear is the ambient sound of the park. Without sound to distract us, like Thomas, we too focus on what we are seeing, piecing together what is happening. Instead of telling us what he is thinking, as in Bande à part, Antonioni invites us into Thomas's headspace, purely through visuals combined with silence. Silence can help us into the minds of characters, but is also frequently used to create a sense of unease. True silence in real life is uncommon. So when it happens in films, it immediately gets the audience to sit up and pay attention.
It's a version of the moment in Western films when the cowboys are sitting around the fire and suddenly the crickets disappear. What's that? That means there's engines out there. So we use a sudden transition to silence as an indication of danger. Something big is about to happen.
So, silence gets audiences to focus on the visual construction of shots, gets us into the minds of characters, and helps create suspense. Could all of this be achieved at once? We only need to look at Jules Dassin's Rififi to get the answer. The setup is simple. Thieves plan to rob a jewellery store.
Cette petite boîte, hein? C'est ça l'ennemi mortel. Dans chaque porte, dans chaque fenêtre.
Silence is vital to the success of the mission, as the alarm system is hypersensitive to noise. Their plan requires them to sneak, dig, climb, and break open a safe, all without making a sound. Every rock moved, every footstep taken, and every turn of the safecracker keeps us on the edge of our seats. Each little sound feels deafening in comparison to the silence of the outside world. By choosing to film the sequence without dialogue, we feel the same relief that the thieves do when the plan succeeds, as we too have gone through the same ordeal and can relax once again. So it's time for me to be silent now, as I've learned a valuable lesson from these films. Silence is not the absence of something, but the presence of everything.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walk alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turn my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence.